Welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicole. I am a writer, reader, and dietitian, but I try not to talk about nutrition here because this is all about my passion of writing books, my passion of reading books and fiction, everything fiction. Today, I want to talk about the midpoint in the story structure. So we've talked about the inciting incident, the first pinch point, and the first plot point. And now today I want to get into what is the midpoint. And I have lots of notes here to go through, and then I'll explain it. I get a lot of my information from K.M. Weiland, so make sure you check out her podcast, Helping Writers Become Authors, on Spotify, and her books. So she has the story structure book, she has character arc books, she has so many different books out there to help people write better. So what is the midpoint? The midpoint provides the chance for the main character to see the truths about themselves. What does that mean? So the first half of your story, you have your main character and they are living life kind of in a reactive mode. So things are happening, the external plot is kind of hitting them, and they are reacting based off of the lie that they believe about life or about themselves. So any of these misconceptions, mistruths that they have, either believing that they are not strong enough or that they are not loved, whatever their misbelief is, they are acting based off of that misbelief and reacting towards what is happening in the plot. When the midpoint comes around, something external happens, and that external force is part of the plot. So a plot action externally occurs, and then that in turn affects the main character by making them realize the lie. They're realizing, oh, I've been believing this thing and it's not true. Like, I really am lovable. I really am worth it. I am confident and strong. And they start acting more proactively from there. They're able to learn something. They learn something externally about the plot and internally about themselves that gives them the option to go after the antagonist from there on. And that's what the subsequent third plot point will be, is the main character going after, proactively attacking the antagonist. The scene should be something really big. So whatever external plot thing happens is going to be a big scene, like a battle or a very huge dramatic confrontation between two characters. The other caveat with realizing this truth is that they may see it, they may kind of become aware that what they were believing was inaccurate, but they still have trouble letting go of the lie. So they're still going to act in ways that are them holding on to this lie or misbelief. And that's what's going to set them up for failure in the third plot point. The first half of your book, building up to this midpoint, you're going to leave little breadcrumbs of the lie that your character believes. So you're going to have them acting based on this lie and misbelief, and your plot, of course, is going to build up to what occurs in the midpoint. The midpoint, again, is the halfway point of your novel. So you have your inciting incident, you have your first plot point, your first pinch point, your midpoint, second pinch point, third plot point, and so on. This realization in some ways is going to be subtle. Like, they're going to the lie about themselves. They're definitely going to get hints and clues about the external plot that will help them create a plan to then go after the antagonist. But this belief about themselves, it is kind of subtle because they can't 100% change. Nobody changes overnight. It's going to be a gradual, slow change. So they're going to have this realization about themselves. They may believe in it for a day or two, and then they're going to kind of fall back into old habits, just like anybody does when they try to make behavior changes, right? So the example I want to give, because I want to give a classic, like an example from a story. I'm using the movie Tangled. It's a Disney movie. If you haven't seen it, 100% you need to go see, because this is really, really good story structure. The characters are pretty good, fleshed out. So we have Flynn and Rapunzel. So Rapunzel, you know the story of Rapunzel. She's in the tower. She has her long blonde hair. She's stuck there, right? She's not allowed to leave. She has Mother Gothel, who is like kidnapped her when she was a baby for her magical hair to keep Mother Gothel young. So she keeps Rapunzel locked up in this tower. Mother Gothel leaves. Rapunzel is like you know, wanting to get out. She wants to see, her like life goal is to see these floating lanterns that she keeps seeing off in the distance. She wants to see them up and close. And Flynn is a character who steals stuff. He's a thief, and that's how he makes his money. He's kind of like on the run, you know, he's homeless, whatever. And he has this crown, and that gets stolen from him. So he's on this mission to get the crown back so he can make his money. And he ends up in Rapunzel's tower, and that's how they meet. And then they end up on this journey. He takes her out because she wants to go see the floating lanterns, and he's on this mission to get the crown. So they're journeying together. And they have this near-death experience. And this is the midpoint plot action, where they're stuck in a cave, it starts to flood, they almost drown. And that's the external plot thing. So when they get out of the flooding cave, they have some realizations about themselves, about each other. Like, she learns his real name. He learns that she has magical hair, and they have this heart-to-heart around a fire. And they both realize that they're just lonely people looking for connection, ultimately, because he's like on the run and he's just been living for himself this whole time. He's never had anybody to connect with. She's been this girl stuck in a tower with this evil stepmother who she thinks is her real mother, by the way. The Mother Gothel is like, she's mean, she's kind of neglectful. Obviously keeping her prisoner in a tower is not a nice thing to do. So Rapunzel's lonely, Flynn is lonely, they both want connection, they start to kind of fall for each other, and they walk out of the scene feeling like things are going to be okay. She feels like she can trust him, you know, even though Mother Gothel does warn her that all he wants is the crown and he's just using her. She does not believe Mother Gothel's right? So they keep going, and then at some point he ends up with the crown and he leaves her stranded. And she, of course, she believes that he really just wanted the crown and that he's leaving her and that Mother Gothel was right. And that's, you know, the lie. That's the lie coming back. So she believes that she is not essentially worthy of love and connection. And then she meets Flynn and they go on this adventure and they have this near-death experience, and then they connect and she's like, oh, this is what I want. This is what I'm worthy of. And then he betrays her and she goes back to that lie and that misbelief of, you know, he doesn't really want me, I'm not really worthy, and she lets him walk off without, you know, fighting it. And so that is a good example of how the midpoint has your character realize something important, but then later on, when things get heavy, they fall back into their old habits. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that made sense. That is my explanation of what the midpoint is with an example. Comment below if you have anything else. If this helped you, you know, like the video, subscribe if you're new so you can stay in tune for more episodes. I do episodes like this with story structure, but then I also do reading vlogs and recaps of books that I read. Next month, I am doing a read with me of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be like probably 2 or 3 weeks from now. I'm also reading a couple other books. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time.